and tens of thousands of people, not only in India but all over. It's possible today if you like, and if we request Shri Mataji, maybe you could also have it. But perhaps it might be a good idea to invite some of our friends here to give a talk for a few minutes, if Shri Mataji, if you permit.
Now, I think I will ask Dr. Rai because he actually was very successful in a neurologist meeting there in Russia. Not only that, but I mean, he was amazed the way the neurologist saw the point and understood the working of the parasympathetic and all that. So I would like him to say a few words first of all. Now, yeah, he was head of the physiology department, Delhi University.
Ladies and gentlemen, you see, first I would like to introduce myself. I have been a professor and head of the Department of Physiology at Maulana Azad Medical College. Then I was the chief of the Physiology Department at JIPMER, Pondicherry. And recently I was the chief of the Department of Physiology and also medical superintendent of the Lady Hardinge Medical College and the Suchita Kripalani Hospital. Now, first I would like to tell you that how I came into Sahaj Yoga. Now, I listened to the talk of Shri Mataji in 1984, and as Mr. Rajesh Shah has told you, that in the presence of mother, the kundalini of a person awakens and he gets the experience of a cool breeze. Now, all the persons present in the hall got the experience of the cool breeze, but unfortunately, I had a little doubt in my mind, as many persons initially have. So I very humbly requested Shri Mataji that, Mother, I would like to do some research work because I would like to find out whether actually one gets a feeling of the cool breeze, or it is simply a subjective feeling, or he told me earlier also, it might be due to hypnosis or other thing. So I took the permission of Shri Mataji into my university faculty meeting, and I told them that I want to work on Sahaj Yoga and to establish whether one gets a cool breeze or not. There was a little opposition in the faculty meeting because they wanted to work more on fundamental aspects, but ultimately seeing that yoga is very important and one must know what happens, you see, when a yoga is done in the body, the university agreed on it and got it recognized as a subject for research. Now, two of my students, you see, I took one student who did a doctorate on Sahaj Yoga philosophy, and he tried to find out that what are the physiological effects of the Kundalini awakening by Sahaj Yoga. That was the first thesis done. It was presented, scrutinized by the examiners, foreign as well as outsiders, and Dr. Sethi, who was my student, got the degree of doctorate in physiology, in medicine, on this subject. Another student, Dr. Chug, is here. He was my student, postgraduate student, and he has also been given the degree of Doctor of Medicine on Sahaj Yoga. His work was on the role of Sahaj Yoga in the treatment of psychosomatic diseases. So these were the two theses, and they were very highly credited by the examiners. And in Lady Hardinge Medical College, we also started giving Sahaj Yoga to the patients, you see, for the treatment of psychosomatic diseases. Because of the first discovery, you see, the physiological effects, we found that one is doing a Sahaj Yoga, you see, there are the changes, profound changes in the body which occur and which are very important, you see, for their utility for the human beings. Because in modern age, you see, you find what happens is that we are going into a stress and strain of life. If you read, you see, the medical literature, you find people say that it is the psychological stress which is responsible for increasing incidence of hypertension in most of the Western countries, developing countries, as well as the developed countries. And we found by our first thesis, you see, which work was done, that this could be a very important, if a person practices Sahaj Yoga, the stress factor can be managed very nicely. Because all the parameters you see for testing whether a person is in a state of stress, tension or anxiety, or he is in a relaxed state were done, and we found that a person who did Sahaj Yoga only for 20 minutes a day, you see, in about 3 to 4 months' time, there were changes in his blood, there were changes in the heart, there were changes in the electroencephalograph, there were changes in the muscle activity, and the changes in the neurotransmitter. One of the very important neurotransmitter, adrenaline, you see, which is produced by the stimulation of the sympathetic nervous system. When you are anxious, you see, you are in tension, what happens is there is greater pouring of adrenaline in your body, and as a result of which your heartbeat increases, you see, and you find there is a muscle, you see, blood lactic acid increases, and persons, if they are having accumulated stress for years together, you develop various types of cardiovascular disorders, like essential hypertension is one, ischemic heart disease is another, and even arrhythmias. So we try to find out that how we try to do it on the patients. And that is how the work of Dr. Chu started, you see. And we did the work on patients, and we took two groups, you see. We took the patients with the hypertension as well as bronchial asthma. Bronchial asthma also has got a psychological factor in it, a stress factor. We took these two groups, and to our surprise, we found it gave a dramatic effect. 98%, if I am correct, you see the patients of hypertension improved, and then they were without drugs on follow-up, and they had no way. The other group, which was simply on drugs, was not cured, you see, and they were getting, you see, their blood pressure was very high. And so we concluded that if a person is doing Sahaj Yoga regularly, then you find the essential hypertension can be treated, and the persons who are prone to essential hypertension, you see, that can be prevented. And similarly in bronchial asthma, you see, we found that was very, very helpful. Now after this, you see, we recently went to Russia, you see, and in Russia, you see, I attended a conference in Yalta, and the conference was very good because the role was there, it was on the yoga and self-regulation. And this was organized by the people of non-traditional medicine. In Russia also people want that they are fed up with the drugs, and they want that there should be a system of medicine, you see, which may be non-traditional, and they found that yoga is very good. So many types of yogic were there, you see TM people were there, Rajnishites were there, you see the Brahma Kumaris were there, magnetotherapy was there, so many there. But in the end of the conference, you see, they were convinced that Sahaj Yoga is one of the best, and it is the scientific work has been done, it has been proved statistically that, you see, the person who is doing Sahaj Yoga is able to regulate his brain activity. You see, as Mother has told, you see, when one is doing Sahaj Yoga, you are in balance. The activity of the sympathetic and parasympathetic, this is modulated, and you are in a balance, and that is how, when a person is doing Sahaj Yoga, your diseases are automatically cured. More so, they are prevented. If a normal person is doing, you can prevent the occurrence of disease. So in Yalta conference was very nice. Then in Moscow we had another conference, and there too it was a conference on yoga and sports. And I told them, if a person, you see there what happens in sports, you see they are also in great tension, because finding out that they should be able to keep the time, you see, and they should win in it and all those things. So I told them, if a person is doing Sahaj Yoga, you see, they will be able to manage the stress factor which is there. And again, you see, it also, because it acts at the level of the limbic system, you see, it might help in the efficiency as well. Then I gave a talk in the Institute of Neurology at Leningrad. You see, it's one of the very famous institutes there. They do a lot of operations. And they requested me to give a talk because they said they are also very much affected by the hypertension. Because what hypertension is there, many people develop hypertension. So they said, we want to do it. And they took the realization. And 90% people, doctors who were there, they got the realization. Now, another thing which we are doing in Delhi nowadays is the effect of Sahaj Yoga on epilepsy. So they got very much interested to do work on epilepsy because the grand mal epilepsy has no treatment. And the drugs which are given, they are to be given for the whole life. So they said it would be a very good idea if Dr. Rai, you could get this thing done here. And, and we are thinking, they have signed rather a project also, where we will go and give them the initiation, Sahaj Yoga, their patients, and they will try also to find out that what is the result. In Delhi, we are doing it in collaboration with the Defense Institute of Physiology and Allied Sciences. The results are very good. We are finding that the attacks, you see, of epilepsy are decreasing when a person is doing Sahaj Yoga. So, and then you see, we had also did some public lectures. And as Rajesh Shah told you just now, you see about 1,500 to 2,000 people were attending the lectures, and there were requests from many places that many centers may be open. We have already got a center at Leningrad, Moscow, Kyiv, and Sochi. There are the 4 places where the centers are there, but they wanted center at Tashkent, Yalta, Novosibirsk in Siberia, and so on. So there was a very good response, and the people think there that this could be one of the non-traditional system of medicine in Russia. They are very much. You see, the Ministry of Education, we had a meeting with them, and there I think the Deputy Minister was very much interested, and he said, Dr. Rai, can it help it in the development of the children? Can it help at the rehabilitation centers? I said, certainly. Because you see, as a physiologist, I know that if the actualization of the Kundalini takes place at the level of the limbic system, which affects the behavior of a person, naturally it is going to be very successful. Because the behavior of the children, you see, in the orphanages, you see, is a little different. So if they do it and practice, it comes down to a normal level. So they are thinking of doing a research on this as well. Similarly, in other schools also they want it, because it can also increase the creativity in children because of the connections of the limbic system with the frontal lobe. You find the children who are doing Sahaj Yoga, they excel in their performance. This is our own experience, Mother. At Delhi, we have seen some of the children who are very poor and who are coming to the centers and doing this. They stood first in their classes. Now, remarkable. This is all because of the creative power, you see. When the children are doing it, you see the Kundalini gets awakened. You see your frontal lobe is also stimulated, which is the seat for the higher intellectual activity. So we find that this is Sahaj Yoga. You see, Mother has discovered it. She is the founder of the science of Sahaj Yoga. And I think it is a unique yoga and the best yoga which the human mankind can have today. The drug problem, you see, which is there, can also be solved by this. You see, the people are taking drug. Why they take drug? It is because of the tension, because of certain problems, emotional problems, other problems are there. So if one starts doing it, all these things will improve. I know persons, you see, by my experience, you see, that they have left smoking, they have left alcohol. Persons who have been taking alcohol all their life. Now they don't touch it. They say, if I can't touch it, even if you offer them. So if such things can happen, I think it is a wonderful thing and best for the mankind. Similarly, you see, so much as I told you earlier, the ischemic heart disease, the heart attacks. Now the doctors all over the world know that it is the psychological stress which is responsible for increasing even the blood cholesterol level. Recently, you see, in the last 2 years, people have found it out, and that is the cause of the atherosclerosis. Another thing, what they have found recently is that this psychological stress, emotional stress, can cause a spasm of your coronary vessels, and thereby can give rise to a heart attack and sudden death, Mother. Now, all these things can be prevented, you see, if a person is doing Sahaj Yoga every day for, say, about 10 to 15 minutes. So it is very nice. It is a life. I say Sahaj Yoga, if you have a Sahaj Yoga lifestyle, I think you can prevent the heart diseases. So, Mother, this is what I think is there. If any questions are there, most welcome to ask.
Now, I would request Dr. Wells, who is in charge of 7 hospitals in London, is luckily with us, and he will tell you how he has cured patients with Sahaj Yoga who suffered.
Shri Mataji. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian Wells. I'm a consultant psychiatrist in the Riverside Health Authority in London, and I subspecialize in the field of substance misuse, which is problems with drugs and alcohol. I'm going to be very brief. My own experience of Sahaj Yoga began in 1982, and I was very skeptical. I was a very cautious Westerner who was very wary of things that were Indian. And I have to say that since 1982, my own life has changed dramatically as a result of the, albeit originally very gradual practice of Sahaj Yoga, and my own health, my own career, my own well-being has improved enormously. Professionally, I work particularly with heroin addicts. I have to say that I have never seen heroin addicts improve, give up drugs, and experience a well-being and a joyfulness like the people who we have in Sahaj Yoga, who come into Sahaj Yoga, and they give up their drugs and experience a whole different way of living, a whole different attitude, which is based on these very fundamental principles as taught by Sri Mataji. It's not a form of treatment that is widely used in the West, but it's beginning to spread. Similarly, a number of people in Sahaj Yoga had very serious alcohol problems when they arrived. These people are now completely alcohol-free, living very balanced, very normal, and very spiritual lives. My own addiction to nicotine was terminated gradually as I came into Sahaj Yoga, and I found that gradually it became unnecessary to smoke cigarettes, and it became important to be healthy, to be the right weight, to be a balanced person, to be married with children, leading a normal, healthy life. My own interests in human well-being have moved beyond addiction, and I've been very fortunate in being able to travel to Finland and to the United States this year, largely to present the work of Dr. Deepak Chugh that has already been referred to by the professor. In Finland, we presented his work at a physiology conference, which was full of very skeptical Western scientists who are interested in atoms, molecules, enzymes, and I stood up on stage, and the audience thought I was a little bit crazy talking about Sahaj Yoga and its effects on hypertension. But as I talked, it became clear that actually the results of Sahaj Yoga are very spectacular indeed. The people who practice Sahaj Yoga after 16 weeks were on no medication at all, and their blood pressure had come down from a very high and dangerous level to a very acceptable level. And the people in the audience had to notice this and came up afterwards and were impressed. And as a result of their suggestions, Dr. Chugh is now publishing his work in the international medical press. A few weeks ago, I was in Boston, and we presented this work again at a huge conference of American chest and cardiothoracic medicine. And again, we stimulated a great deal of interest because, as Professor mentioned, a lot of people are now interested in ways of treating blood pressure, treating chest diseases with methods that do not involve the use of medication. And Sahaj Yoga is something that's considered unusual by many Western-trained doctors. But the results that Dr. Chugh has achieved are indeed very spectacular. And we now have a number of very eminent researchers in the United States and in Europe who are interested in comparing the effects of Sahaj Yoga against drug treatment and against other forms of relaxation therapy. So from my own standpoint, Sahaj Yoga is the best treatment I know for addiction of all kinds, whether it's addiction to drugs, to alcohol, tobacco, to food, or to other forms of behavior. It's a system of becoming balanced, becoming healthy, and becoming whole. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Sri Mataji.
What should we have now? We have so many doctors here. You see, Dr. Talwar is here. He is from Delhi. Then we have Dr. Chugh. We have other doctors of scientists here. And we have here on this side Dr. Nigam and Dr. Bagdan, who is a Russian, and Dr. Spino from England. So please come. हम सब लोग खड़े हो जाए तो ठीक. It's better you all stand up here. Just let us say. आप एक थोड़े में कह दीजिएगा.
All the doctors.
All the doctors should stand up together. We have minimized their number just to make you understand that this is Dr. Pepe from Spain. Then we have Sarah Sachin from England. Come along. There are 7 doctors in England who are doing this research there in England. And also there's a research going on in the Cambridge University, but by Dr. Derek Lee. He's also here. Luckily they are here, so that's why I wanted to have the meeting today.
Shri Mataji, we have so many illuminatory sort of individuals here, but we are all at your feet in collectivity. I'd just like to say a couple of things. Of course, we have all experiences to share, otherwise probably would not have been in Sahaja Yoga. If you want to see an example of an essential hypertension patient in a medical person, I am an example standing in front of you. It's 5 years ago since I gave up drugs, and blood pressure is quite normal. I can tell you that because no doctor spares me to take my blood pressure from time to time, because they're completely enamored with the factor as how it could occur. There's no answer for it. Sometimes, Sri Mataji, when we hear people talking about blind faith, I wonder how people can talk about blind faith when they're blind themselves. To be able to understand subtlety of life, one has to have the actual experience. Unless we get the actual experience of self-realization on our own central nervous system, I don't think anybody has a right to ask for any proofs, because no proof can be given on equipments which are not properly functioning. Now, for that purpose, with due apology, Shri Mataji, I would like to point out, because it seems to be sensationalization when individuals want individual proofs from people who have gone through the experience. I'd like them to come forth and take the experience of self-realization, feel the whole process on their own central nervous system, and then I think they would have a right to ask for proofs, if any is required by them. My whole family, I may tell you, we were, shall we say, a zoo of some sort of problems. My wife was with crippling arthritis, and my son suffered from severe migraine. My daughter-in-law had problems with bronchial asthma. And by the grace of Sri Mataji, by the introduction of these Sahaj techniques, practices in our daily life, we have all got rid of our problems. As a clinical practitioner in medicine, as a medical specialist, I can say one thing. There are lots of things which cannot be proved in a laboratory, but which is the better proof? The person whose ailment disappears, or the records of a laboratory. I leave it up to you, gentlemen. There are so many doctors to follow. I wouldn't like to say anything more, but this is just to let you have a feel that there's much more to life than what is visible in the 3 dimensions that we are aware of. Thank you. Thank you, Shrimati.
You could say about the parasympathetic nervous system. Want to say that, or what you saw, because you see, it's sounding like magic to them. Better to tell them what works it out, isn't it? Tell them.
About the parasympathetic and
Yes, I will
chakras.
see how the Kundalini works and how it supplies this thing. Of course, you'll get the little paper to see what is actually, how it works out. You see, also you should know, because it may sound like a magic to you. It's not magic. It's no magic at all. This power is within us, which rises, actually rises. In some people, you can even see the pulsation of the triangular bone. And you actually see it, rising it. In some people, not all of us. Some people. Where there's obstruction, you can see it clearly. But some people just, it shoots off. And then you can yourself feel the cool breeze on your head, you can feel the cool breeze on your hands. But everybody doesn't get it. There could be some people who don't get it. There are some people who didn't get it for about, I think, say for 2 months, 3 months, but they got it, ultimately. But you have to keep your mind open, as any scientist has to. Just to deny something, to say there is no God, is unscientific. You have not found it out whether there is God or not. So keep it as a hypothesis and see for yourself. If it is not there, if you have found out it is not there, it's all right. But you have not yet found out. So just to deny something is not scientific at all. So these are all scientists we have here. Dr. Nigam is here. All of them are here. And you see how Sahaja Yoga after shift. Now, you see, this is how I'm asking Dr. Spiro to just tell you how the Kundalini rises, passes through different centers, and how it pierces through the last one here, and what is the result, ultimate result of it, which he'll tell you in short. So you will know that it's no magic. It's just like a sprouting of the seed. Simple thing as that. But as you cannot manifest that, you cannot manifest it normally, unless and until you have the Mother Earth or you have the Holy Mother. I think you can't do it. That's the only point is.
So, in brief, the hypothesis that we have in Sahaja Yoga is that at the base of the spine, at the level of the sacrum bone, there is a vital energy which we call Kundalini. And during the process of Sahaja Yoga, this energy is awakened and rises. Now, one doesn't have to have any special depth or experience in order to know that something is happening, because as Sri Mataji has just mentioned, in many cases one can actually see it with the naked eye. So that's not something that one has to take on trust. There's a very simple observation one can make for that, for saying that something is happening which is outside of our normal physiology. It's not something that's explained by the usual physiology that we understand. Now, the nervous system is divided, for purposes of this, we can take three main divisions. The right and the left sympathetic, and in the center is what the parasympathetic nervous system, and these three together form the autonomic nervous system. Now, this autonomic nervous system is collected in what in medicine we call plexuses, but in terms of yoga we call chakras, which are arranged in the body. And both the right and the left sympathetic contribute elements towards each of these plexuses. So if I can just use my hands, it's like that. So the right and the left each form a plexus. Okay, thanks. So in the normal situation, one is just using the two sympathetic sides, right and left. And so there's a tendency for that central part to be reduced because there's activity on the left or the right, and it pulls it a little bit. So in that way, the plexus, or the chakra, if you like, is being constricted. And that means that there is less energy able to flow through the central channel. What happens in Sahaja Yoga is that this process is reversed because the central channel becomes active for the first time. Rather than being a potential source of energy, it becomes actual. And so there's the tendency is for the plexus to dilate. So, as Professor Rai has already said, through the practice of Sahaja Yoga, the nervous system achieves a balance, allowing the vital energy of the body to express itself, and at each level of each chakra this happens. So the organs at that level are nourished, and it's in this way that diseases are cured. Not that one necessarily needs to even try and cure the diseases, it happens automatically.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We have so many doctors.